Hi everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel. I'm Vivian of Love Viv. Today we're going to be making blueberry muffins. This is one of my favorite recipes for my new ebook, Sweetly Baked. And yeah, let's just get into it. First, we're going to prepare our flour mixture. I have 2.5 cups of flour here with half a teaspoon of salt. We are going to add 2 teaspoons of baking powder. We're going to add half a teaspoon of baking soda, just like that. We're also going to add 1 teaspoon of cinnamon, ground cinnamon. Now we're just going to mix all of our ingredients together so it's fully combined, just like this. And once it's all combined, we can just set it aside. Now we're going to grab our larger mixing bowl. We're going to add our melted butter. Make sure you get all of the butter using a spatula. Now we're going to add our granulated sugar, our vegetable oil, half a cup. Then we're going to add our eggs. Now we're going to add our vanilla extract. I am adding 2 teaspoons, but 1 teaspoon if you're doing just the 12 count of muffin. Now we're going to take that whisk. You can get a new whisk, but I'm lazy sometimes, so I'll just use that one I use for the flour. And we're just going to whisk that all up, make sure it's fully combined. I just whisk it until it's very smooth. You don't really see any egg whites anymore. The color is uniform. Now we're going to stir in the milk and the yogurt. I'm going to add in half a cup, or if you're doubling it like me, we're going to use 1 cup. Our milk. I'm going to stir this in a bit. Make sure that's all good. Slightly stir it in like that. It's easy to go from the center, and then you can kind of just go all throughout. We are going to add our dry ingredients. Just go like that. Now we just kind of mix it in. I just go a little slowly because it's going to overflow and I don't want to make a mess. Make sure when you're stirring it and you're mixing it to get all the way from the bottom, that way you don't miss any. And you don't get like clumps of flour. And then once it looks like it's almost mixed but you still see little pockets of flour, we're going to stop there. We're going to set it aside for a little bit. We're going to grab another empty bowl. I'm just using the one that I had the flour mixture in. I'm going to add my blueberries, and then I'm going to get a couple tablespoons of flour. This doesn't have to be too precise, but just make sure you don't overdo it because it can affect the recipe. And we're just going to lightly toss it in the flour. This just ensures that the blueberries don't sink to the bottom when you're making your muffins. You can also do this for like cakes, loaves, all of those as well. So once it looks like it's coated pretty evenly, we're going to grab our batter and we're just going to toss these blueberries in there. We're just going to fold it in. Fold it in pretty gently. You don't want to overdo it. And make sure you're getting it from the bottom. We're just going to cover this with a clean tea towel like this. We're going to set this aside for like 15-30 minutes, and while the batter is resting, we're going to make our crumble, and we're also going to preheat our oven to 425. So we are going to measure out some flour, just like that. Now we're going to get 1/3 cup of brown sugar. We're going to add some cinnamon. I don't really measure it anymore, but it would be like about 1 teaspoon of cinnamon. And then if you're doubling it, 2 teaspoons. But can add as much as you like. We're just gonna lightly mix it so that's all combined. Just add a little bit more cinnamon because I do like cinnamon. Oop, maybe a little too much. And then when it's just like, I mean, mostly combined, it doesn't have to be perfect. Now we're going to add some cold butter. And I like to cube it up so it's easier to handle. Put this right there, and we'll just cut that up into cubes. Okay, once we got all of the butter inside, we're going to just basically squish the butter with the flour in our hands. Kind of like at this, so get a little chunk of flour and butter and just squeeze it and kind of combine it that way. You can also use a pastry cutter if that makes it easier for you, but I think it's easier just to do it with your fingers. So yeah, we're basically just kind of grinding into the butter and the flour so it combines into a crumble. Once the crumble kind of looks like this and it's like coarse sand, we're going to set it aside. We're going to grab our muffin tray and just line it with cupcake liners. So we have our muffin tray ready, and we're going to grab our muffin batter and just open it up. I like to pile it high, kind of high. I mean, don't go overboard, but I'll just first distribute it a little bit and then I'll add more as needed. Oops. Just watch what you're doing, don't be like me. Then once you have them all distributed in the muffin tray, you can just check to see if any need a little bit more. And then we're just gonna add our crumble. Just gonna add a few more little drops there. I'm gonna grab our crumble, just dump it on there. Like with the batter, I'll just put some on first, and then if it looks like it needs some more, I'll add some more. Now that the muffins are ready to bake, we're gonna bake it for 5 minutes at 425, and then we're going to lower the temperature to 375 and bake it for the rest, like 20 to 25 minutes, or until the toothpick inserted comes out clean. And yeah, these are our blueberry muffins.